Good morning, and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. Beck and Beck provide complete service for your real estate transaction and bring you guests who provide interesting information about products and services available in our community. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO. Well, the final week of June, and oh gee, look at that messy yard of yours. You need help. We've got help today on Missoula Real Estate Today. Thanks for joining us. My guest is Rob Svendsen. Rob is the owner of No Gas, Lawn, Snow, and Home Care, a guy for all seasons. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thank you, Denny. Thank you.
Very nice to have you on. I guess a mutual acquaintance / referral. We want to say hi to Nate Nunnally with Montana Pest Solutions. Nate's a kind of a regular on this show, and you guys are in some sort of a business group together, and that's how you know Nate. And we got you referred.
A big thanks and shout out to Nate at Montana Pest Solutions.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
He had to change the name of that business, and I was just thinking of Nate yesterday as I was out in the yard and saw several dozen rodent holes all over someone's yard. I knew that was the time to call him.
Well, let's do the get acquainted since you're a first-time guest, your background, and how you found your way to acquiring this business.
Sure. Well, I've lived in Missoula since September of 2020. I've been coming here for a long time. I had a wife that's from Missoula, and long story short, I said, if you do, I will, and so here I am. And I checked with my daughters. I have 2 teenage daughters that live back in Chicago. I made sure that they were comfortable with the situation, the pandemic and everything going on, and they said, Dad, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
So I loaded up the U-Haul and luckily found a place to live out here that I could afford, and just started with my nose down to the ground.
All right, started rolling from there.
Yeah.
What interested you about the no gas approach?
Well, so I've been roaming the neighborhood for my whole life, bugging neighbors to let me do stuff around their house and then have them pay me for it. So I really do feel lucky to be able to do what I do. I love what I do, and
Nice.
It makes me feel good to be able to help folks keep their properties clear. But it's just what I've always wanted to do. And the no gas part, that was your question. I knew I needed a hook, right? There's a lot of competition in Missoula for lawn care and landscaping. A lot of guys running around in trucks. And so I wanted a hook. I wanted to sell some sizzle with the steak, so to speak. And what I realized was, quote unquote, blue towns in red states is a really great market for electric lawn care, because there's a resistance from the guys that do the work to the transition to electric, but there's a desire for the customer to engage that work. So I found that it was a good, it's not a huge business driver, but people that want it, they want it. So, and it's a cocktail party conversation, let's be honest.
What do you like the most about what you do?
What do I like most? You know what? I like the satisfaction I get when I'm done with a property. And I turn around and I know that I've left their home in a condition that's going to make them smile at the end of the day when they've come in and feel proud of their home. So now we've got 2 people proud of the same property.
Yeah.
So I really do take a lot of satisfaction in that.
I always love we don't own a home anymore. We rent, and the landlord takes care of the small lawn. But man, I always loved the instant gratification of mowing a lawn. You know, I mean, I know you do so much more than mowing lawns, but
it is instant gratification.
And it was a big enough yard that we had a riding mower, and you just kind of turn around, look over your shoulder, and you see what you've done.
Yeah,
instant gratification. That's awesome.
And that's a good kind of instant gratification.
Sure is.
I think. Yeah,
you bet. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at News Talk KGVO. I should say Diane. They're not with News Talk. I am. Diane Beck, Becky Peterson, Windermere Real Estate. And they bring you the show here on News Talk KGVO. There we go. My guest, Rob Svendsen, owner of No Gas Lawn, Snow, and Home Care. And your assistant, Bear. You brought Bear in with you.
I brought Bear, the no gas dog. Yeah. You might see her running around.
Bear, the no gas dog.
Yeah, people get a kick out of Bear.
Yeah, she is adorable. And just to clarify, kind of a follow-up to what I just asked you.
just so listeners know, you can utilize your gas-powered tools if necessary.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
There might be a situation where you have to.
We made sure we had an out, so to speak, because the technology, while it's strong and getting stronger, and companies are making commitment to the commercial equipment, we have a motto that we're electric when we can be, gas when we have to be. And so we have 2 commercial, sit-down riding, standing lawnmowers that we utilize, and some walk-behind mowers and blowers and trimmers. But it's not, you have to have backup, on a commercial route. If one of those machines goes down, you have to be able to fix it. And right now the infrastructure is just not all in place for servicing that equipment. So we've had to do it ourselves. And, again, that's just another part of the business that we're learning firsthand. And when the transition does happen, or it becomes clear what it's going to be, we'll be the leader there. So we're electric when we can be, gas when we have to be. People really enjoy the quiet. That's most of the comments I get from folks that see the no gas name on the truck and then see me using gas equipment. They say, well, you sure don't sound no gas. And so I share with them that little phrase that we have to give ourselves some wiggle room. But, at the end of the day, nobody knows what it's going to look like in 10 years, but we'll have a pretty good idea and be the leaders.
Yeah. Well, you are the complete package. Let's go over some of the many services you provide and some details of each, if we may. Lawn mowing, of course, but what's involved with aeration and overseeding? Why are those important?
So one thing I've learned about lawn care in Missoula is that the weeds are it's man versus weed nonstop. And aeration, dethatching helps not only the health of the lawn, but it helps to mitigate the weeds issue. The soil and the terra firma here is so well compacted and hard. That's what weeds really like to grow in. So when you go in and you aerate, you loosen up the soil, and weeds sort of can get loose and not be such a problem, so to speak. So we'll go in and aerate a lawn for folks and pull out the dead grass and let the lawn breathe a little bit, and that helps with weed control as well.
How about fertilizer and weed control? Do you have your preferences, or you give the customer some choices on that?
Yeah, this is again part of our learning curve. We're not True Green. We're not a lawn chemicals company, right? But we can apply, residential lawn fertilizer for folks if they want us to do that. It's a pretty straightforward situation for us. If you want us to apply chemicals, it's sort of got to already be the way you want it. We're not lawn doctor, or we're not lawn chemists, so to speak. We don't test the soil. But if you want us to apply some Scott's Weed and Feed, absolutely we can do that. And we're always looking to grow that part of our business as well. So we're looking into some commercial sprayers and getting those licenses and permits as well.
Aha. Landscape construction, I assume that can be a big task.
It is.
You want a professional like you for that, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. You want someone that knows what they're doing. And
what are you doing?
Yeah. So, excuse me, one of my mentors and I were having a conversation in the spring about the kind of projects that we were going to be taking on this season. And I was really overwhelmed by the scope of the work that was being asked of us. And he said, Rob, I want you to realize something. You are a maintenance company, maybe an installation company, not a construction company. So what we've decided is we're going to focus on the quote unquote installation and maintenance of landscapes. So garden bed removal, rehab, taking out sod, putting in sod. That's going to be our sweet spot. Retaining walls, hardscapes, patios, that sort of stuff. We have partners that we would work with to do the hardscape stuff, but we're teaching ourselves this business. So, excuse me. For example, my first year, I was a one-man operation. Lady asked me to do top dress overseed. I had never done a top dress overseed before, and I was candid.
Did you know what it was?
I did. I knew what it was, but I'd never done it before, and so I let her know that. But I let her know that I have a hard time turning work down, and that I would be happy to do it for her if she was okay with that, and she was. And Gen Xer as I am, we taught ourselves a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
So, we're learning that business. We just want to make sure we stay in our sweet spot and grow responsibly.
Sure. But as far as that aspect of the business landscape construction, at least at this point, it's more about the earth than the concrete.
That's right.
Yeah, people are looking for.
That's right. And when I say installations too, I include, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, the sprinkler installations. We can do sprinkler installations. We just call it landscaping, light landscaping, I guess is what you would, how we refer to it. Yeah.
Well, if you don't have underground sprinklers and you're interested, you will love them, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a time saver.
Yeah, it is. There's a little bit of there's definitely some preliminary work to it, but they are a pretty cool thing. Let's see, where did I leave off here? How about property cleanups?
Yep.
What kinds of jobs are you called upon to do there?
Yep. So this is our busiest time of year.
Sure.
We're mowing, every day for 10, 12 hours a day. But on the beginning and the end of those seasons, at the beginning and the end of those seasons, we do spring and fall cleanups.
Sure.
And, the wind, there's no shortage of debris. So we'll be out prepping a customer's property for 2, 3, 4 hours at the beginning of the season, making sure they're ready for the short season that we do have here in Montana, because we want to make sure it's nice during the time, those 3 months where we can enjoy our outdoor space. And then in the fall, it's just leaves. We got things to pick up, the sprinkler lines to repair, landscape lighting to put up. We do holiday light installation for people. We plow snow, so we're staying busy all year round.
Right, not to go dormant in the winter months. You gotta keep. Helps keep your name out there for one thing, and I'm sure there's a fair amount of demand for that too. And
there is. We had a light snow season last year, so again, it was a good season to be a startup, should I say?
Yeah.
Coming from Chicago, I can say prepped me pretty well for snow in Montana, because you can get 5 inches in the South Hills and get 8 or none up in the Rattlesnake. And Chicago's a lot the same with lake effect snow. You might get 6 inches somewhere and 0 somewhere else.
Under your commercial offerings, needless to say, I kind of paid a visit to your website there, Rob, but it's you list I don't even know how I'm saying
Exerscaping.
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 I was going to say xeriscaping. Can you explain what that? I can't even pronounce it, so
sure.
I'm not going to explain what it is, but I'll let you do that. What is that?
Sure. So exerscaping is us basically working ourselves out of a job. Lawns and grass are horrible for the environment. Domestic lawns, right? They take too much fertilizer, they take too much water, they take too much gas to mow, maintenance, time, energy. It's a real suck. It's not an environmentally friendly thing to have as an option for that space. And so what we do in people that sort of have had enough, quote unquote, of lawns is we come in and rip out the lawns. And you've seen you can see quite a few of them around Missoula. We rip out all the lawns and put in native grasses, low water, no water plants, deer resistant plants. We'll use crushed granite or some 3/4 chip rock as a base. And it's just a sort of a clean, sharp, soft way to take out a lawn, but still have it be aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
Sure. There's one up in the Rattlesnake that's got crushed granite. They took out all of the lawn, put crushed granite in lavender. So they've got a really cool lavender and native grasses and stuff. But it's just a way for us to, again, lower the carbon footprint of landscaping and lawn care. Right.
Got it.
We'll try anything. We're trying to be creative
sure.
in how we go about this. Missoula is such a great place to do work like this, and people are so grateful. We love our customers. We feel really lucky to be doing what we're doing.
Well said. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. My guest, Rob Svendsen, owner of No Gas Lawn, Snow, and Home Care. Also, a thank you to a couple of Diane and Becky's marketing partners that also help present the show. Rob Fleming at Man Mortgage and Miles Link with Opportunity Bank of Montana, as we get back to Rob Svendsen with No Gas, Lawn, Snow, and Home Care. Back to the no gas component, Rob. Talk about the kinds of equipment you had to purchase and why you went with the product lines that you chose.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question, Denny. When I started, I was using a brand called Ego, which you see a lot in stores around town. They're a residential brand versus a commercial brand. But what I found was no one was really, this was now 2 years ago, no one had made a commitment to their commercial line that I was comfortable with. And so I was just willing to take the risk of running the residential equipment on the route and keeping my eyes out for what, who was coming out with good commercial level lawn equipment. And so what I discovered is Steel is a brand that makes really, really great trimmers and blowers on the electric level. The mowers aren't really quite there yet. But Greenworks is another company that's making good residential and commercial quality equipment. So we've our commercial mowers are all Greenworks brand, and they're really great machines. Here's the great story. I had to buy them over in Spokane, and I bought a floor model that was a couple years old, or it was a year old. It was
a year
Steel. No, I'm sorry. This was a Greenworks, Greenworks stand-on 48-inch commercial lawnmower.
Right. Okay.
That they had listed on the floor for $15,000, and it was a 2022 model, and it was 2023. And I told the guy, I said, "Listen, you're not going to sell that for $15,000. It's electric and it's last year's model. I'll give you $5,000 for it." So he sold it to me for $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got a great commercial lawnmower. Yep. For a great price.
Yeah.
And that also, just encouraged me to commit to that brand. We're looking into opening a service center and a dealership here as well. It's just we have to get one thing down well before we start another.
Yeah.
You might know something about that. I don't know, but it's there is a demand, a huge demand, and people are excited. I see people around town that are really excited when they have their electric equipment. They're out using it, and they see that we're electric. They want to tell us their story about their electric equipment purchase and how much they like it and how quiet it is. And so, yeah, change is scary, but change is also really fun for people, too.
And I'm sure everybody understands that when you talk about electric, you're not talking about plugging something into the receptacle on the outside of the person's house. It's the battery power.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. And batteries, everybody asks, how long does the battery last? And you know what? It lasts about as long as a tank of gas.
Okay.
Is what I say. This obviously this would not be at all a viable option if we were still plugging stuff into the wall and then dragging those wires. I remember those days.
You remember those old electric?
Oh man,
electric lawnmowers are not new, but my gosh,
it was the town weirdo.
They were tiny push mowers, and you could go as far as the cord would let you go.
That's right. The place where I grew up, it was definitely the neighborhood oddball that had that going.
Has the you've been at this enough years now to kind of observe, has the technology changed much over the years for the kinds of machinery you use? I mean, as far as you mentioned quality, one brand compared to another brand, but safety, more efficient, things like that. Are you seeing any uptrends there?
I always say bring it to the bike. If you get a lawn professional, they're going to make your lawn look good no matter what the equipment is.
Yeah.
Keep your blades sharp, stay safe, keep your tires filled with air, like that sort of stuff. You're going to get a quality product. So I have a hard time saying that I have a favorite brand right now of mower. There's a lot of parity out there, really. Yeah. Walker is a brand. They don't make an electric model, but those are the yellow mowers you see a lot of guys with the big box in the back. That's probably what I would consider to be the number one professional lawn care brand for lawnmowers.
Walker.
Yep.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. Sure glad you joined us. My guest is Rob Svendsen, owner of No Gas Lawn, Snow, and Home Care. I did see some of the reviews on the website. And of course, if you're going to put reviews on the website, you're probably going to put most of the ones that are very favorable. But my gosh, so complimentary, Rob. Very, very favorable. Does that help keep you motivated, knowing that you are gaining the trust of satisfied customers?
100%. It's having good reviews is always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think there's a handful, or there might be one or two negative reviews out there too. And I'm always okay with that. I found people, if you make a mistake or you have a hiccup in your product, just own it and be a stand-up guy about things, and people generally are okay with it. But my real motivator, as much as I love reading good reviews, are my kids.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like doing this for my kids.
Okay. Are they getting to an age where maybe they could join the team? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. Layla, my daughter wants to be a doctor. I never thought there'd to be a Dr. Svendsen that somebody else would trust, maybe an evil doctor or something. Yeah. They live in Chicago and they're doing their own thing, but I think it's a really cool story to be able to show your kids how you can come out to a place with nothing and start something and make a whole new life, Yeah.
It still could be tougher negotiating for you than getting that mower from 15K down to 5K. But, maybe something to keep in mind down the road there.
That's right.
Tell me about your team. What makes a good no-gas lawn, snow, and home care crew member?
So that's the other big motivator for me is my teammates. I have a great team. Kevin Hager, my founding partner, is actually from the same hometown outside Chicago I'm from. And we met each other up at Snowball. We were both instructors up there. And once I had found out that he was from the same town I was from, and he had mowed lawns for 5 years, and I knew a lot about him. I knew he knew what loyalty was. He knew what quality was. I knew he knew a lot. And so he's been a great partner for me. My other partner, Daniel Colson, is a lifelong Missoulian. He handles all the paperwork and stuff that I can't seem to sit still long enough to accomplish. But we agreed that this was a place where guys could earn a living wage. We have our hourly rate starts at $20 an hour, and then if they make it through the season, there's 2 seasons a year, you get then a $2 an hour bonus for the hours worked during the season. So you're making $22 an hour, and that happens every 6 months. We pay those out to guys, and then if they're professional people and they're reliable and consistent, we'll move them on to a salary. But this is our perfect no gas crew member is someone that's going to work the opportunity and not just the job or the hours, because we want to be here for a while. Our employees are entitled to 35% of profits. We have designated 35% of profits to go toward infrastructure or paying cash bonuses to employees. So that was a real big reason why I started this. First time I came to Missoula about 17 years ago, I met my former brother-in-law, and he was the mailman. And I was waiting for the list of other things he did beside the mailman, right? Because it's the way it is in America, right?
Side hustles, yeah.
Side hustles. But Missoula is still the kind of place, slowly not becoming, but where you could have a job as a mailman and that was it, right? And I want the lawn guy to have that same sort of dignity, right? In place to go to work every day. There's no reason why the guy mowing your lawn and shoveling your driveway shouldn't have a nice Christmas for his family, right? If that makes sense.
How does it work when a customer hires you to take care of their property? Can you get on some kind of a weekly, monthly, annual schedule or contract, or how do you do? What's your policy there?
Well, so every job's a custom job, we like to say. Excuse me, and we try to direct people to the website for them to make submit a form for service, and then we'll put it on the calendar. Someone from the office will call you, and we assign that to a tech, and they'll go out and take care of it for you. We do have weekly mowing. We have bi-weekly mowing. We have one-time mows, vacation mows. We do also, if you need to call, you don't aren't comfortable on the internet or paying over the internet or something, you can call and talk to a real person.
Great.
Mail in a check. We have, if you want us to come by and pick up cash for payment, we'll do that. So again, Missoula still is a pretty special kind of place, whereas we have all of those different kind of people.
Yeah.
And we love our customers.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. And my guest is Rob Svendsen, owner of No Gas Lawn, Snow, and Home Care. You're no doubt, as you mentioned, quite busy this time of year, Rob. And you talked about, gave a couple of examples of this earlier, but I want to ask it anyway. As you look ahead, are there any services or features that you would like to add to the business to keep it growing long term?
Yeah, we do. We are rolling out right now. We've come up with we call it a proprietary process for clearing storage units in snow in the wintertime. And those are famously frustrating properties to handle for guys that do our work. And so I've come up with a way that we're going to be able to market directly to them as a group and capture a lot of that business. So yeah, but we're always looking for more commercial snow plowing accounts. This is the time of year when we start signing those people up, believe it or not. So yeah, there's 25 years of work out there, Denny.
I ask this one of every single one of my guests, success stories, any job or jobs you have taken on that you've found to be especially rewarding at No Gas Lawn Care.
Let's see. Anything that I find particularly rewarding. I just think the whole endeavor has been, particularly rewarding. You're
not the first person that's answered it,
right? There's just there's going to be bumps in the road. This is the life I chose. I'm an entrepreneur. My goal is to become a little bit better today than I was yesterday. My teammate pushes me to be that. I hopefully push them to be that for themselves too. And we put a smile on our customers' faces. That's about all I can ask.
Missoula Real Estate Today has been presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. My guest this week has been Rob Svendsen, owner of No Gas Lawn, Snow, and Home Care. Rob, is there anything I missed that you want to, make sure we cover? Get in there.
NoGasLawnSnowAndHome.com is the website, of course. 240-9649 is our phone number. We are excited to be working in Missoula.
All right. Well, beautiful summer weather. I better let you get back to work, right? So probably tough to find days off this time.
There are no days off right now.
That's right. And
that's okay.
The No Gas Lawn, Snow, and Home Care business. And the owner's Rob Svendsen, but my guest this week on Missoula Real Estate Today. Thank you for coming in. I hope you can come back.
Thank you, Denny.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. For current listings and services Beck and Beck provide, visit movetomissoula.com. That's Missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.
We're Beck and Beck with Windermere Real Estate, and we're really proud to sponsor the Grizzlies. I'm Becky Peterson.
And I'm Diane Beck. We have over 40 years of experience in the real estate industry.
It's the people that drive us and the relationships that we create that have made real estate our passion.
We were both born and raised in Montana and understand the changing market conditions.
It's that knowledge that we will bring to your next real estate transaction. When you think of home, think of Beck and Beck, and contact Becky Peterson or Diane Beck at Windermere Real Estate.
Every weekend, Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate, present Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO. The Beck and Beck team provides years of local experience for your real estate transaction and bring you guests that provide useful information on products and services available in our community on Missoula Real Estate Today. Saturday mornings from 8 till 8:30 and replayed Sunday mornings from 10:30 till 11 on News Talk KGVO, FM 98.3 and AM 1290, and on the free KGVO mobile app.